right. Good afternoon, everyone. Please let me know if you can hear me. Type in the chat box so that I know if you are able to hear me loud and clear, and then we can begin the session. Use the chat box as much as possible just to confirm that yes, I'm audible. Thank you. Yes, perfect. Thank you. All right. So welcome to today's session. These sessions happen every single Saturday at 2 p.m. And the objective of these sessions is to inspire our pharmacy professionals who are exploring pharmacy careers, and also to help them understand what are the different opportunities that exist in the pharmaceutical domain. Another reason for doing these sessions every single Saturday is to help every one of you understand what are the different opportunities in medical writing. And if you could, if you are watching us, you're watching me on YouTube, then please do subscribe to the channel, because every single Saturday we'll continue doing this learning sessions. If you are able to hear me, type in the chat box so that I know everything is working fine and we are good to go. Just checking if everything is working fine. Let me know if everything is working fine. Put in the chat box and let me know that yes, I am audible. All right. So all of you who are watching me on YouTube, please let me know if I'm audible, and then from there I'll begin. All right. Let me share my slides for today. And here are the slides. I hope everything is visible clearly and audible. All right. Perfect. So today we'll discuss about resume, and resume is one of the most important aspects and tools for getting you a right job, right? So what do we understand today? We'll explore what is resume, why it is important, and how to create a powerful or a good resume. Yeah. So let's begin. First of all, I'll walk you through the different contents that we'll be covering in this section. And these are the contents. We'll understand these different aspects. First, what is a resume? Why? We'll understand why we need a good resume, how to create a good resume, and do's and don'ts in making a resume. Then I'll give some tips for better version of you, how to become present online and other aspects. Then of course, as usual, we'll end up with some Q&A. So if you have some questions, you can put in the chat box and I'll try to take up those questions at the end of the session. All right, so let's begin. What is a resume, right? That's the first thing that all of us should understand before we begin. So a resume is a summary of your skills, achievements, and experience in a way that relates to the job you are applying to. Now, when I say this sentence, it's very specific that whenever we send our resume, the resume has to talk about our expertise, our knowledge, and our skills, our achievements with respect to the job that we are applying to. We may have a lot of expertise, we may have a lot of experiences, but whenever we are applying for a specific job, the resume must be tailored for that specific job. Unless that resume is tailored for a specific job, it is not a good resume, okay? A resume must be a single or max of 2 pages. Now, why is this important? We'll know in the upcoming sections, right? A good resume can land you in a good job. A bad resume can disconnect you from the good job, right? So that's the importance of having a resume. Now, there are differences between CV and a resume. We'll talk about that as well. The master resume, I call it master resume, is also as good as a CV. So in CV, what happens? You put every information about you that may not be tailored for a specific resume. A CV, there is no limitation on the number of pages. You can have as many pages as possible. But what happens when you create a specific resume for a job? You are basically taking those specific points with respect to that job and creating 1 or 2 pages of content, right? So resume is basically a summary of your master resume taken for a specific job, right? So we'll understand all of this. Don't worry now. So as we progress with the session today, you'll understand all of these differences in more details. Yeah. And this is the difference between a resume and a curriculum vitae or a CV. I also called the curriculum vitae a master resume because it contains every single information about your education and your experience, right? Now, what happens when you create a resume? You take only the specific points that can help the manager to understand that you are most right fit for the particular job, right? The resume is basically the summary of the skills and experience that is very relevant to the position that you are applying to. While the master resume or a curriculum vitae is a very detailed, exhaustive list of academic and professional experience. You can have everything that you have achieved in your life in the resume, CV. But then when you are customizing the resume, you have to take up only those specific skills and experiences that are very much connected to the job that you are applying to. Now, coming to the length, there is no limitation with respect to the length in the master's CV or a curriculum vitae. But when it comes to resume, it is only 1 to 3 pages max, depending on the experience. For freshers, it is ideally 1 pages. And for people who have experience up to 10 to 15 years, it can go up to 3 pages maximum. And why it is 3 pages? Because again, we have less attention span. There is recruiters have very less time to go through this resume. And so the shorter, the better. Right. So is this slide clear? I hope it is clear. If you have any queries, you can keep putting in the chat box and I'll take the questions at the end of the session. All right. Now, this is all about what is a resume, right? Now, let's understand why a good resume is needed, right? There may be a lot of questions in your mind as to why we need a good resume. Now, let's understand those important points, why a good resume is needed. First and foremost important point is an average recruiter spends only 6 to 7 seconds on each resume. And this is a survey that was done by Indeed, and this was a research which was published by them. And according to them, normal recruiter spends only 6 to 7 seconds on each resume. Now imagine the potential the resume has when you have to showcase your expertise and skills in just 6 to 7 seconds, right? It's a huge task. And then the second reason is a recruiter has to go through thousands of CVs for the same job, right? He has to go through hundreds and thousands of resume for the same job. And unless your resume stands out, unless the resume speaks volume about your success, unless the resume tells the recruiter that you are the right fit, recruiter might not be excited to go through the entire resume of yours, right? So that's the second point why we need a good resume. Most of the times the resume look the same and the boring, right? Resumes are always boring. Most of the time it is boring for recruiters because they are tired of seeing the same resume over and over again, right? And most of the time the resumes are not customized for the jobs that candidates apply. Many a times they just download some template, they just fill in some of the content and they just send the resume. So essentially the resumes look like the same. Another very important reason why a good resume is needed is because of the applicant tracking systems. Most of the companies, they use these applicant tracking systems for hiring candidates or the potential candidates. Now, unless the resumes are customized for that specific job, most of the time, these applicant tracking systems simply reject such resume, right? So it is important for us to customize each of our resume for the job for which we are applying to. Now those are the 4 important reasons, in fact, for why we should have a good resume, right? And another most important reason being, if we stand out of the crowd, our resume must be different, right? So for the same profile, let's say the recruiter receives 1,000 resumes, and if your resume is the only resume that stands out and there is a recruiter likes, then probably there is very high chance that you would be called for an interview there, right? So these are 5 important reasons why a good resume is needed. Now let's go to the next one and understand how to create a good resume, right? How to create a good resume. Yeah. So there are some tips here. First and foremost is we are confused about career goals. The same pharmacy student, he'll be interested in pharmacovigilance, then he'll be interested in medical writing, he'll be interested in preclinical research, he'll be interested in clinical research. Now, it is very important for us to think of a career goal and positively think about one career goal at a time, and then focus on that particular career goal while customizing and creating our resume. It is absolutely important because if we put all the 4 areas in our resume and send it to a recruiter, the recruiter gets confused as to where to hire this candidate, right? So it is important to have a career goal first and then start working towards it. First of all, let's understand what are those career goals, right? So let's say, for example, if I'm interested in medical writing, then I should be aware about different aspects in medical writing, the different companies which hire for medical writing, and the skills that I need for getting into medical writing. Now, once I'm aware, then I should look for the companies that are offering me opportunities around me. When I say around me, let's say I'm in Bangalore, and there is a company which is offering an opportunity in Delhi, and they are offering not work from home, but work from office option. Now, let's say if I send my resume simply to them and I get selected, and later on I reject just because I'm not able to travel to Delhi, it's a simply waste of the recruiter's time and my time as well. Now, I should be looking for a position which is based out in Bangalore and where I can easily travel whenever needed, right? So many candidates, they don't think about this. Many candidates, when I receive resume from different students and candidates from across India, they send resume just for testing the recruiter's patience. And what happens? They are sending the resume when they are not able to travel. Many times they are based out in different places, and they just simply keep sending the resume, which is not right? It's a waste of time. Everybody's time is very, very important. So we should focus on the career goal. We should focus on the companies where we are interested to work. We should focus on the place where we are most convenient, which is most convenient for us to go and get in that job, right? And only once we are focused on those career goals, it becomes easier for us to focus on one specific job at a time and not 10 or 15 different job types which are available. Now, if you have a look at my YouTube channel, if you're watching on YouTube channel, there are different playlists I have created. And these playlists are, depending on what you need. Let's say you are looking for your personal development, personality development, then there are videos that can help you out to get into your personality development mode. If you're looking for careers in medical writing, then there is a separate playlist which has about 16, 17 videos, past recordings of the webinars that can help you out to understand what medical writing is all about and how you can learn more about medical writing. If you're exploring pharmacy careers, then I have the most number of videos. There are about 60 plus videos. They are the past recordings of all the different webinars that I have conducted during the last 1.5 years. And why I stress upon all you to watch these videos is because the experts from the industry, the experts from the pharmacy industry, they have come here and they have spoken about different opportunities that exist in the pharmacy domain. And also they talk about the different skills and experiences that you need to get into those domains. They also give the various career tips that all of us should know before even getting into the career mode zone or creating a strategy of our own, right? So I hope that is clear, and I request you to go through all these videos whenever you get some time. Not all the videos, but very specific video that is very much relevant to your career path. If you're looking for something in medical writing, I request you to go into the video playlist that has medical writing videos. If you are just exploring what are the different opportunities that pharmaceutical domain offers, then you just look at the pharmacy careers playlist, and there are 60 plus videos. Whenever you get time, just make a note of those videos. Whenever you are watching those videos, make notes. Making note is one of the best things that we can do to ourselves. Why? Because when we write, when we make notes, it gives a lot of clarity, a lot of thought processes start. And when we simply just watch for fun, then our brain does not remember, right? So it's important to have a career goal, and thinking of a career goal is the best thing that we can do to ourselves, right? Perfect. So let's go on to the next one and let's see what it is. The next thing is, of course, The next thing is important aspect is to understand or think what we want to achieve from our resume. Unless we like our resume, unless our resume is not exciting to ourselves, how can that resume be exciting to others, right? And many of the times I have interacted with hundreds of pharmacy professionals during the last few years. And then what I have seen is I ask them, now you have sent the resume to me. Can you tell me why should I hire you? The most common answer is because I'm interested, because I have done this course from this college, but they can't tell 5 reasons why a recruiter should hire them, right? It is very, very important to think and understand why the resume can be considered by a recruiter, right? Unless you are able to answer yourself those 5 reasons why you want to get into that job, no one else can explain that for you, right? So my suggestion is, before you even think of writing your resume, before you even think of creating your resume, make a list of things that you want to achieve from your resume. Of course, the resume is the number one marketing tool for you. But apart from that, what else you want the resume to achieve? What else the resume should showcase about you? Those points should be very, very clear. And once we have those clarity in mind, then it becomes very, very easy for us to create the resume. And we don't have to depend on anybody for creating resume. Now, this is another mistake, or mistake or maybe dependency that all of us have. We think that, okay, if I give my resume work to somebody else, they can create a wonderful resume for me. It's not possible, because no one can understand you better than yourself. Now, you have done so much of education, you have learned so much of things. Now, can you explain the same thing to a resume writer and expect him or her to create a good resume? I don't think so, right? You are the only person who knows best about you, and you only know that what are your achievements during the past few years. Now, if you start putting them down on a piece of paper or in a Microsoft Word, then you'll be surprised to see that you have achieved so much in your past few years experience, right? Even if you're a student, I love to interact with a lot of students, and I get surprised when I see that so many of them, they have achieved so much, right? And of course, they're always doubtful about their achievements, but as we interact, as we dive deeper into those achievements, we realize that there is so much of achievement. One of my 5am club learning student, he's been doing, he is very much interested in artificial intelligence and data, right? The data analytics. So he's doing his MPharm pharmacology from a reputed college in Bangalore, and he likes to dive deeper into artificial intelligence and drug databases and all of the different machine learning tools. So what he has done is he has enrolled for different courses, and he learns from those different courses. Now, what is happening here is he's definitely making himself better and better over compared to the rest of his batchmates and classmates. Now, tomorrow, if he goes for an interview in artificial intelligence or machine learning, the way he'll respond to the answers, questions by the recruiters will be definitely better, right? Because he has learned so much during this. Even before he is planning to get for a job, he's already started learning. So still he is about 4 months away from completing his work, but still he is, for the past 4 or 5 months, he is mostly devoting his time to artificial intelligence and machine learning. So similarly, all of us have some goals in our lives. We have to understand what are those goals and where we want to go, to achieve those goals. And based on that, we have to start working on our resume. Next and very important thing is we should always understand and do a SWOT analysis. Now, what is a SWOT analysis? SWOT analysis is basically a framework that helps us to understand our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that exist. Now, strength and weaknesses are internal factors. We all have weaknesses, and it is important to realize those weaknesses and start working on them. And unless we work on them, we can never achieve success. We can never become better and better. And now, if you want to know more about this, you may actually join my 5am learning club that happens every Monday to Saturday between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'll put the link to register for it in the description later on after the session. Okay, perfect. So another important thing that is needed for creating a good resume is clear and easy to read format and font. The clarity, the way the resume is created has to be very good. It should be just be very clear, easy to read, and the fonts that we use should be very readable fonts, right? I see a lot of resume where we'll put a lot of graphics and photos and even the pictures. Those are all unnecessary. And if you know what ATS is or applicant tracking system is, you understand what I'm talking about, right? And if you don't know what ATS is, maybe you can watch one of my videos of my channel and you'll get clarity of what ATS is all about. Okay. Next is try to make your resume visually appealing. When I say visually appealing, it is not putting a lot of graphics and background color and all of that. It is simply using bullet points. Just bullet points, plain bullet points can help distinguish different points in the resume, and they can really get a lot of clarity. The recruiter can get a lot of clarity from reading those points, by reading those points, yeah. The resume summary should convey our value and key achievements, very important. And unless we are able to summarize our value and key achievements to the recruiter, how do we expect the recruiter to connect back to us and hire us for, from the rest of the people he has got the resume from, right? And always, it's very, very important to create a job-specific resume. Now, what is a job-specific resume? So let's say if I'm applying for a medical writing position, I know what is the recruiter wanting from that position, right? What is the recruiter expecting from me, from me as a candidate? All those recruiters, they publish something called as job descriptions. If you don't know what job description is, I suggest you go to LinkedIn and search for any job in the job section, and then you'll understand what job descriptions are. You'll understand what the recruiter is expecting from you, and then you can understand whether you meet those criteria or not. And all of us cannot meet all the criteria which is expected by the recruiters, right? That's normal, no problem. But the thing is, if we don't meet those criteria, what is it that next we should do? We should actually start working on them. We should start learning those skills, right? So now coming back to job-specific resumes, there are some sections that we must focus on before we create any resume, right? So let's understand what are those job-specific resume. First and foremost is the contact information. And in the contact information, we should have only 4 elements. One is your name. Name should be always bigger and bold. And then the second one is, the phone number and the email ID. Many times we put 2, 3, 4 phone numbers and email ID, which is funny, right? Always have a name-based email ID. So whatever is your name, if my name is Manoj Kumar Yadav, my email ID should be, let's say, manojkumaryadav@gmail.com. And if I don't get manojkumaryadav@gmail.com, then maybe I can say Manoj Kumar y@gmail.com, something like that. My name has to be represented there, right? Phone number, keep one phone number on which you are available. Don't give the WhatsApp number directly. Some of the candidates have WhatsApp number and the regular number separate. Always give the regular number. Don't give the WhatsApp number, right? You don't expect the recruiter to WhatsApp you, right? He may call you back to that number. So it is better to give the regular number on which you can receive a call. Third important point is we should put the location from where we are applying. Let's say I'm from Bangalore, so instead of putting my full address, I should put the location. Because by seeing the location, the recruiter knows whether this candidate will be able to come to office or not. He doesn't want the full address. No recruiter will want the full address of the candidate unless you are hired in the company. Once you are hired, of course, you'll have to submit all the details and information to the recruiter. But before that, you don't have to put the full address. Just the location is fine, yeah? And the fourth important component in the contact information is the LinkedIn profile link. And many of us miss out this point, right? Many of us don't optimize the LinkedIn profile and we don't put the right LinkedIn profile link, which is wrong. We have to put the LinkedIn profile link. Most of the recruiters today, they do research about the candidates and they want to understand what the candidate is doing, right? And where the candidate is available. So it is good to have the LinkedIn profile link, which is optimized, and then that can help the recruiter to come back to your profile and have a look at your profile and see whether you actually meet the requirement as an ideal candidate or not. And to know how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, I have done 3-4 webinars previously, so you can watch any of those webinars on my channel and you can just go back and optimize your profile. So always rework on the profile, because LinkedIn profile of yours is a 24/7 marketing tool. It markets even when you are sleeping, right? So people can access your profile even you are sleeping. So That is the thing that can happen to you. A recruiter can search about you, he can know about you, he can connect with you, and he can offer a position to you, right? I've got a lot of freelance opportunities just from LinkedIn. And that's the reason I keep promoting LinkedIn as a wonderful platform. So if you're not using LinkedIn, then start using LinkedIn and understand how better we can use LinkedIn for your better. Okay, now let's go to the next one. The next important is resume summary, right? So in resume summary, we have to understand two things. We should highlight the greatest successes as an employee, or if you're a fresher, focus on the value that we can bring to the organization. Every company wants to have valuable employees in their company, and they want to understand what we can bring onto the table of the employer, right? So if we are able to focus that, showcase that, then we are done, right? And the summary or the core competency, right? So when you write the summary or the core competency, there are some elements that you should take care. And these are those elements. The first thing is when you're writing the summary, always remember that this is like an elevator pitch, right? And this is like an elevator pitch that gets the attention of the recruiter. If you are certified, mention that. If you have done some certification which is very relevant in the industry, mention that. What is your goal? You can list out those goals as well, right? You can example, like for example, I want to work with creative minds at the location so that the employers know that you are ready to relocate, right? So all of this, when you mention, it becomes easier for the recruiter to connect with you, and then yes, they go further and read more about the information, right? So let's say, for example, if I did my, digital marketing certification, maybe I can say that I'm a certified digital marketer who's looking to work for, maybe put the organization names in Bangalore in the year 2021, 2022, or 23. And you can also add your flexible hours or work from home options, whatever works for you. Basically, when the recruiter looks at this, the recruiter understands that yes, you are the perfect fit for the organization. And only when the recruiter finds that you are a perfect fit from your summary, he looks back, he goes back and understands more about you from the resume, or even he can click on the LinkedIn profile of you and come back to your LinkedIn page and understand more about you, right? So your summary is like an elevator pitch to get attention of the recruiter. So please remember, whenever you are updating that, focus on what you can offer to the recruiter. What is it that, why is it that the recruiter should hire you as an ideal candidate? Okay, perfect. Now, when you write about core competency is all about the things that you're most confident, right? Maybe you are empathetic, you have listening and communication skills. So you focus about those skills if you are really confident about, and you can prove those skills. It is important then, whatever is your core competency, you should be able to prove during the interview. That's very important. We write a lot of skills which we cannot prove, so it's very wrong. Writing skills that can be proved is very, very right. So maybe if I have to, write my core competency in terms of IT related or digital marketing related stuff, maybe I can say SEO, Google Ads, WordPress, social media visuals and content. All of this I have been doing as a digital marketer for pharmaceutical healthcare domain. So I can write something like this, right? So similarly, if you are getting into medical writing, you can focus on medical writing stuff. Or if you are getting into pharmacovigilance, you can focus on pharmacovigilance related keywords that can showcase your core competency. If you are into dossiers or regulatory affairs, you can talk about the softwares that you have expertise to, right? There are a lot of softwares that can be used for creation of dossiers. So maybe you can mention about those softwares as well in your core competency. And this helps the recruiter to get connected with you really fast, because the recruiter is looking for somebody who has these core competency for the job that the recruiter has posted vacant, right? Now, this was all about the summary, and now let's go to the next one. And the next one is work experience, right? This is an important one, right? And it is, let's say if you're a experienced one, then it is easy. List the relevant jobs, and we should always talk about the recent job that on the top, right? This is the third section of the resume, and this is not the fourth or fifth section. So it's important, first your name, contact details, then your summary, and then the work experience. Whenever we write about the work experience, always the most recent experience has to be on the top, right? And whenever we are putting that in the bullet point, we can talk about the key achievements or responsibilities. This helps the recruiter understand that under this, in this job profile, from this time to this time, the key responsibilities of yours were this, and this is what you achieved from that particular title. This really helps you to understand, helps the recruiter to understand about you more, right? If you have not any experience, if you're a fresher, you can talk about the volunteering activity. You can talk about the different other activities that you have done to gain some experience, right? Some of the students, they take part in conferences, they organize conferences, they organize these webinars where it showcases your leadership skill, your communication skill, your teamwork skills, team building activities. So all of that you can talk about. Many of the students, they volunteer, right? They do volunteering for blood donation camps, medical camps, and various other activities. So talk about that, because these volunteering activities also give a lot of experience about you and tell to the recruiter that yes, you are the right candidate for that profile, right? So that was the work experience for fresher or for experienced both. Now, certifications is another important point, right? And many of us have done a lot of certifications. So I know a few students who have done like certification in medical writing, certification in pharmacovigilance, certification, maybe digital marketing, many certification. Now, let's say you're applying for something in medical writing. So if you have done certification in other things, it may not be so relevant for that position. So list out the certification that are very relevant to that position where you are applying to. That's very important, right? Because the recruiter always wants to understand why he or she should hire you for that relevant position, right? If you have done some project or internship, talk about that, right? So some of the students, they volunteered during the COVID times. Maybe talk about that as well. And this will showcase your capabilities and abilities to the recruiter, okay? All right. And whenever possible, whenever you are talking about these internships and volunteering activities, always be specific, as much specific as possible, right? And then whenever you talk about this, there is very high chance that the recruiter will ask some specific questions from that live project or internship that you have done. And you should have some ready proof with you to showcase your expertise that and the problems that you solved during the process, during the internship. The recruiter might also ask you, what are the mistakes that you made during this particular internships or project, what you learned from the project or internships. So we should have some proofs, maybe some screenshots, or if you have a certificate, it's perfectly fine. Tell the recruiter about it more often, right? So this way you can explain about the live project and internship, right? That was about the certification. Now comes the education. Right? In education, what happens? Always include the highest degree, okay? The college name, the location, the field of study, and the graduation year. That's all. If you have done MPharm, then you don't have to put BPharm, because only after BPharm you do MPharm, right? If you have done PhD, then maybe you can enter MPharm as well. If you have done some additional degree like PG diplomas, you can mention that also. But whatever is the highest degree, that comes first, followed by the next one, right? The previous one. So that is all about the education. Now comes the skills. And whenever we are putting the skills, we should always put only the relevant skills, right? So whatever is relevant for the job for which we are applying, not other skills that we might have all different skills, but if the recruiter is not interested in those skills, then what is the point, right? So always focus on the relevant skills for the job for which you are applying, right? This way, the recruiter gets inspired by your skills many a times, right? Check out the keywords from the job description and include them. And this is important because now with more and more companies using the applicant tracking systems, it is important to stand out with the keywords from the job description. And you don't have to necessarily copy and paste these keywords into the resume just to, pass these applicant tracking systems. We have to explain them as to how you have got relevant experience for that particular job. Yeah. And that was about the skills. Now let's understand what is an ideal resume, right? What does it look like? So maybe our ideal resume will look like this. This is just a single page resume. And if you see on the top band, there is the name, there is the email ID, the phone number, the LinkedIn profile link, and the location. That's it, 4 things. Yeah. Then you have the summary. The summary talks about why you are an ideal candidate and what expertise you bring to the table of the recruiter. Then comes the professional experience. In the professional experience, you talk about the latest job that you're working in. And if you don't have a latest job, then you can talk about the volunteering activities. If you're not volunteering, then I suggest you join some volunteering organizations. and then list out the key responsibilities and achievements that you have done in that particular job, right? That was the third point. And the fourth point is your education. When it comes to education, always list out the highest education on the top, followed by the next one, right? And then the additional skills again with relevant to the job for which you are applying to. That's it. That makes an ideal resume. And of course, remember, there is no hard and fast rule of the format. Whatever latest format is available on LinkedIn, or if you're using Google Docs, you can get the free templates from there. They're powerful templates because companies like LinkedIn and Google and all these companies, they have done huge amount of research to create an ideal format, right? And we don't have to really create our own format when the ready templates are already available. You don't have to sign up with some free job site to download a free resume template. You know why? Because you are submitting all your personal details to those third-party websites, and you never know what happens to that personal detail. So it is always good to use the templates which are available on LinkedIn or the templates which are available on Google Docs. I train all these things in my 5 a.m. club. So if you're interested, you're most welcome to learn. Okay. And the next one is, yeah, perfect. Next one is we'll talk about some do's. What are the do's? What we should do whenever we are creating our resume. And let's understand those specific do's. So far, so good. Let me know in the chat box if you're able to connect with whatever I'm explaining and you're able to follow, right? You can use the chat box as much as possible. And then I'll take up the questions at the end if you have some questions to ask. If you don't have any questions, it's perfectly fine. You can always connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can, if you have my WhatsApp number, you can also WhatsApp me. You have my LinkedIn profile link on the YouTube channel. So you can just click on that link and you can connect with me on LinkedIn as well. That's the most convenient way of connecting with me, right? So now let's understand some of the do's that we should always remember whenever we create the resume, right? We create our own specific resume. So what are those do's? Let's check out. Yeah. First is always, and you'll try to stand out, showcasing your best achievements and with examples. So somebody else's best achievement cannot be ours, right? So similarly, our best achievement cannot be somebody else. And in pharmacy, especially, I've seen that, from the same batch, from the same college, all the resumes look similar because one person might have done some hard work. He might have created some good resume and everybody wants to just simply follow it. Please don't do that, right? Because you have your own achievements, you have your own talent. Use your talent to create your own resume, right? If you want a template, just let me know and I'll share you some specific templates as well. But then always create your own resume. It's good to have your own specific, simple resume that is just a showcase of your talent and skills, right? Review your resume. Always review your resume. So even if you feel that you have created your best resume, don't worry about it. Just check the resume regularly. Whenever you check the resume as a reviewer, okay, as a third-party person, then you might find a lot of outdated information, that you might find a lot of unwanted information. Please remove from your resume. You don't need any unwanted information, irrelevant information in the resume. Whenever you are reviewing your resume, put yourself in the shoes of a recruiter. Think about the recruiter who has 100 of resumes on his table or her table, and he has to look at your resume for 5 or 6 seconds. Is it so exciting for the recruiter to see your resume for those 5, 6 seconds or 7 seconds? If yes, then you have done your job. If no, then rework on the resume, because nobody else can put that effort for you. If you want to come to me and tell, hey, Manoj, please create a resume for me. Yes, of course, I can help you. I can guide you. But I cannot create the best resume for you, right? You are the only person who knows in what sections, what parts you are the best person, right? In what capabilities, in what abilities you are the best person. So always review your own resume and remove unwanted stuffs from your resume, right? Keep only the very relevant one. Keep it very crisp to the point so that recruiter does not have to, hunt for information, right? Very, very simplistic way you have to explain it. Then always include your LinkedIn profile, right? If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, if you have not created a LinkedIn profile, then you are missing out a lot. LinkedIn is the world's largest business platform, and it has more than 850 million people, from more than 200 countries. If you are not on LinkedIn, then this is the high time you go and register on LinkedIn. And what you can do, You can just create a simple profile and you can follow my past videos and understand how you can optimize your profile. If you don't want to follow my videos, it's perfectly fine. There are thousands of videos on YouTube. There are maybe lakhs of articles on Google. Use them and learn from them. And if you find something interesting which I missed out in my video, please let me know and I'll include them in my upcoming videos as well, right? Always use some action words like you have created something, you have developed something, you have designed something, you have managed something. So I came to know about one or two students from pharmacy college. They created a mobile app. Now, they did some research, they created this mobile app and they are helping the patients learn about the disease. What a wonderful thing they have done, right? Similarly, if you are doing something, if you are so creative, design something and create something and use those same action words in your resume. This helps you to stand out from the rest of the crowd for the recruiter, right? A recruiter really gets inspired with the work that you have done, and you can be one of the preferred choices for the recruiter. Okay. Always customize the resume for each of the resume that you are making, right? Whenever you are sending a resume for a specific job, first read the job description and see if you have included all the points from the job description in the resume or not. If you do not know the skills, that's perfectly fine. Not all of us are perfect, right? So when you are checking some of the job descriptions and you see that you are missing some of the skills, you can go and check out those specific videos. So if you, let's say you want to learn some learn some skills in pharmacovigilance. You don't know what pharmacovigilance is. You are a fresher and you are trying to get into pharmacovigilance. There is a 2 hours content on my YouTube channel. One of my good friend, Dharmpal, he has spoken about pharmacovigilance and he highlights the various aspects of pharmacovigilance as a career. He also explains what are the terms that we should know in pharmacovigilance. He also highlights what are the skills we need. He also tells us what are the companies that hire for pharmacovigilance. Similarly, there are over 50 plus experts who have spoken about different career opportunities in pharmacy. If you are not aware, then please go and watch those videos on my channel. There is a playlist called Pharmacy Careers, right? When you go there, you learn those specific skills. And when you're learning, make a note of those skills that you are lacking. If you know the skills, it's perfectly fine. But if you don't know the skill, make a note and see how you can learn those skills. Right? Some of the speakers also suggest us how to learn those skills. What are the resources we should use to learn those skills? You have to work on yourself. It's very, very important. It's high time that you start working on yourself. No one else will come and work for you, right? So always go and follow those videos, learn from them, and keep working on yourself. The second option is whenever you are creating the resume, you should be able to explain why you are the right fit. If you're not able to explain this to the recruiter, no one else in this world will be able to explain this to the recruiter, right? And you are the only person who knows your accomplishments, your skills, your knowledge, your learning so far, and you also know what the expectation is from the job. So you are the only person who can explain why you are a good fit for this job. Do your homework. Always understand the job description, do the homework, and explain why you are the right fit for that position. Okay. Your resume has to be very, very simple, preferably PDF. Why I said PDF? Because whenever you send the Word document to people, different companies, different people use different versions of the Microsoft Word, or they are not even using Microsoft. Some of them, they use other softwares. Whenever they open, in your resume in those softwares, your alignments, the alignment in the resume might change. The appearance of the resume might change. PDF is a universal format, and when you send the resume in a PDF format, it becomes easy for them to understand what actually you wanted to showcase. Whatever you wanted to showcase, the PDF actually displays, right? So it's good to send the resume in PDF format, and this helps the recruiter to actually get what you are showcasing them. Always do a spelling check. I have seen the spelling of pharmacy wrong in many resumes. Then spelling of the subject, the master's you have done is wrong, and the college name itself is wrong. These are some important things that recruiter always notices, right? If you're not able to write your own master's subject correctly, if you're not able to write your own name correctly, if you're not able to write your degree correctly, then what else the recruiter can expect from you, right? So we should do a spell check. We should do the spelling check before we create the resume, before it is sent out to the recruiters. And this helps us definitely to create a good first impression to the recruiter. Okay. Give your resume to a friend or colleague of yours for review. Most important point, we never do this, right? So maybe once you have created the resume, take a printout. First of all, see the resume yourself as a third party, as put yourself in the shoes of the recruiter. And if you still don't find anything, then give it to your maybe professor, your principal, or maybe your lecturer, your classmate, some of your friend who are very close to you. Give the resume to them and tell them to critically review the resume, right? When they critically review the resume, they, as a third party person, they can tell you that you are making this mistake, right? For us, everything looks perfect, but when somebody else is viewing the resume, then we know that yes, we might have made some mistakes. So it's good to send the resume to a third party and get the review from there. And if they say it's a mistake, please accept. There is no point in arguing with them and saying no, whatever I've written is perfect, right? If you have that mindset, then please don't follow this step. Yeah, the best thing is to not follow the step than becoming angry and creating an issue. So if you trust people, then ask them to review, and if they review and give their feedbacks, please follow them and ensure that you are able to incorporate those changes in your resume before it is sent out to the recruiter. And if you don't know how to use LinkedIn for job search and to use LinkedIn for sending profiles and resume to the recruiters, there is another video that I did on how to use LinkedIn for job search. You can watch that video. It's a beautiful video. I have given a demo of how you can use it. So if you're not aware, then please do it. Please check that. Okay. Revisit your master resume. So remember that CV, the third or fourth slide that I showed you, that's your master resume. Whenever you get time, you revisit the resume, maybe every 6 to 12 months, and your job specific resume every 6 months, to see if you have anything to add, right? Whenever you have anything to add, go back and keep adding and updating the resume. You should not update the resume just before one day or when you are applying for a job, right? You should keep it updated whenever you are doing something, achieved something in your life, right? When we should update the resume, we should update the resume when we get a promotion, let's say, okay, maybe complete a major project, we have completed some project, you have obtained a certification or a degree, right? Or maybe we have mastered a new skill. So let's say we know that these are the weaknesses we have, right? We have done our SWOT analysis and we know that these 5 are the weaknesses. Let's say my communication skill is poor, my time management skills are poor, my handwriting is poor, my spoken English is poor. If I know that these 4 important aspects I need to work on, then I should give a timeline to myself. Let's say 30 days to work on my communication skills. And let's say I've mastered communication skill, let's say I'm able to speak in English properly, then that becomes a skill for me, right? So go and add that in your master resume and you'll feel good about it, right? And the more you work on your weaknesses, the more number of strengths you have, the better opportunities you can get in your life. So it's important to keep mastering, keep working on new skills and keep working on our weaknesses to learn new skills every single time, right? So these are the points where we should go and update our resume. Now let's understand what are the don'ts we should not do when it comes to resume. And these are the don'ts, right? So there are some don'ts that we do a mistake all the time. Have a look at this. First thing is we should not have a resume more than 2 pages. Again, I told you why, because the recruiter does not have more time to read your resume, right? He has only 6 to 7 seconds to go through the resume. So the shorter the resume, the better it is. Include the skills that are not confident about. So if I'm not confident about those skills, I should not include in the resume. Why? Because when the recruiter, asks me questions in the interview, I'll not be able to answer them. So always include the skills that we are confident about and not the skills we are not confident about, right? We should include a declaration with signature and references. If you are having some good references who can support you, who can encourage you, who can refer you, who can recommend you, then put the details of the references there. We don't put them, right? When we don't put them, then we miss out the opportunities. So when you put the references and the signature properly, then it helps us to stand out from the rest of the crowd, right? Yeah. So now let's understand some tips for a better version of you. And these tips are, again, I hope it will be helpful for you So let's understand what are those tips. First and foremost is let's be more aware. What is it that we should be more aware? We should be more aware about the different opportunities that exist, different ways we can get into the pharmaceutical domain, and we should be doing this more often, right? We should not wait when we have completed our degrees. We should start even when we are about to complete our degrees. Let's say 1 year before we are about to complete our degrees. The more aware we are about the different opportunities that exist, the better we can plan for our career path, right? Use the power of LinkedIn. There is huge amount of resources available on my channel also. And if you are connected with me on LinkedIn, then you know what I'm talking about, right? So there are huge amount of resources, courses available on LinkedIn. You can connect with a lot of people on LinkedIn. The experts from the domain, you can connect with them, and then definitely it will help you out to stand out from the rest of the crowd, right? There are 50 plus career opportunities in pharmaceuticals on my YouTube channel. So please watch them and learn from them, right? There are more than 12 hours of content on medical writing. So if you are exploring medical writing as a career, then I think my YouTube channel has got most of the videos for you, right? There are videos on medical writing, medical communications, medical marketing writing. There are different types of writings and the skills that we need, how to write an article and all of that. So if you're interested to know more, just head on to my YouTube channel and then check out the resources there, right? If you want to learn more, you can join either the 5 a.m. club. 5 a.m. club is the most preferred one because the early get, the faster you get up early in the morning, the better you can plan your day. I also do a 7 p.m. club, which happens every Saturday from 7 o'clock in the morning, evening to 9 o'clock in the evening. And we learn 4 or 5 skills during the 5 Saturdays or 4 Saturdays every month. So if you're interested, you can join either the 5 a.m. club or the 7 p.m. club. And the details of all these details are available on my LinkedIn profile. So during these sessions, you learn more skills and you can become industry ready even before you are planning to get into the job, right? It's good to have these skills and learn these skills. And if you have learned something today from this session, please pass on this information to others. Whatever you have learned today, if you find even 1% change, 1% information you got from this session, then please pass on that information to others, because together we can change this. I cannot alone try to change the whole world. It is not possible, but together we can change the world for somebody, right? So if you know some of your friends who are struggling, pass on this information to them, and this way we can make this world a better place to live together. Okay, so with this we come to the end of today's session. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll definitely meet again next Saturday at 2 p.m. Every Saturday these sessions happen. In case you have some questions, I'd love to take any of the questions from you, and let's have some conversation now. I know most of the pharmacy professionals, they don't ask questions, but it is good to have, good to ask questions. Unless you ask questions, you'll never get answers. So asking questions is one of the best thing that we can do to ourselves to get connected, to learn some new skills. Yeah. So if you have some questions, I'd love to take those questions. So you can put in the chat box and I'll try to answer them for you. I'm not an expert anyways, but whatever I know, I'm just trying to share with you here based on my learning so far. And you can always give the feedback from these sessions. These sessions happen every single Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. at 3:30 p.m. And sometimes if I have international speakers, the sessions happen at 7 o'clock in the evening. So next Sunday, next Saturday, both the days I have sessions. Tomorrow also I have a session. We'll be talking about recombinant biosimilars and biotechnology. So if you're interested, you can join tomorrow's session, which will be happening at 3:30 in the afternoon. And next week, we'll have some learnings from an expert pharmacist. So thank you so much for your time. Let's meet very soon again. If you have any feedbacks, head on to my LinkedIn profile and then share those feedbacks. If you're not connected yet with LinkedIn, with me on LinkedIn, then please do connect. You connect with many pharmacy professionals through me on LinkedIn. They're all connected with me. And if you know somebody who can come and talk on different aspects of pharmacy careers or medical writing, please tell the details, share the details of those speakers, and I'll contact them, and I'll be more than happy to host them here on this session of mine. So thank you so much for your time. I wish you all have a wonderful day ahead, a wonderful weekend ahead. And if you're part of my medical writing group, then we have the classes tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. And if you are on the weekdays group, then we have the classes happening on coming Monday evening, from 8 o'clock in the evening. So thank you so much for your time. Let's meet again very soon with more another learning journey. Till then, goodbye, good day, take care, and thank you so much for your time. Thank you.